I want you to understand the battle is what are we going to do societally about the metabolic health crisis?
And what should we do? Like, you're in charge. I know you said you're a libertarian, but let's just imagine you were a fascist and you could do whatever you wanted. What would you do?
It's not what I think the president can do numerous things tomorrow that will I think one of the biggest lies we're being told is this can't be turned around quickly. We did not have a metabolic health crisis a generation ago, and we can turn this around very quick. I don't think the American people are mass suicidal, frankly, which is what we're acting. We have an addiction crisis. I can give you a couple right now. The president tomorrow can tell the FDA that the U.S. can no longer be the only country in the world that allows pharma ads on TV news, which isn't to influence to consumers, it's to influence the news. Pharma buys off the news, and the FDA can issue an order tomorrow saying that that's no longer the case, that we can't have pharma spending on TV news. That is an executive decision. It can be issued tomorrow, and it would totally undercut the ability of the pharmaceutical industry to control our information. Food stamps, the ag bill.
So you think that pharma, I'm sorry, you're throwing for my aging pizza-addled brain, it's hard to keep up. But you're saying that pharma buys TV spots not to convince people to ask for specific drugs from their physicians, but to subvert the news business?
This is an open secret working for pharma.
Well, I never even thought of that.
This is an open secret. The kind of silly ads you see between the news breaks, the points of that is not, it's marginally to impact the customer, but the pharma's already got that. They've already bought off the doctors. They're good on that. No, this is an open secret. The news ad spending from pharma is a public relation lobbying tactic, essentially, to buy off the news. The news is they're not investigating pharma.
I've noticed.
The news has become basically a referee that you were a terrible anti-science Luddite for asking why, the shots that we require our kids to get that fundamentally by their own advertising change the immune system of that child for life, why it's gone from 20 to 70. To even ask that question, the news referees that and calls you anti-science when the two largest vaccine makers in the country are literally criminal enterprises. GlaxoSmithKline and Merck, in the past 5 years, has settled two of the largest criminal penalties in American corporate history for bribing doctors and creating misleading research, who are the two largest vaccine makers. So you literally have the media playing referee that you can't even ask a question. Parent is actually...
If you have a vaccine injury, and many people have, including some I know very well, even a profound vaccine injury, you're not allowed to complain about it.
No, you're anti-science.
Even if it can be shown, this is a vaccine injury.
The media plays referee because they're funded. But so in all levels, right? Wow. On all levels. And I'm
very dark, Calley Means.
Well, I think it's hopefully empowering. I think this is why we have an opportunity here, Tucker. Like Ozempic, this is not some new, it's kind of this funny thing, it's kind of vain, I can lose weight. This is the reason the stocks are going up is because this is going to be a lot of government money. This is going to be the highest funded drug from the U.S. taxpayer in history. And we've got a society, when are we going to say, let's go another direction? Why are we trusting pharma now when they've been completely acting to garner no trust? We have to be basic here and incentivize better eating, better farming. Think about public policy with the $4 trillion we spend on healthcare. How can Americans be more active? These are basic things, but these can be done. And just two more quick ones. I mean, there's 20 of these, but you just have to go to the incentives. You were surprised that the majority of university researchers and NIH grants go to conflicted researchers?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Tomorrow, the president can say, we're not going to touch NIH funding, but we're not going to issue grants anymore to people with conflicts of interest. That would sound like a reasonable policy to 95% of the American people. I think that's unimpeachable, bipartisan policy.
Of course.
It will cause a conniption. The media the next day, with their talking points, would say it's the most anti-science.
NIH funding.
Exactly. So you could do that. You could change ag subsidies, which are just tens of billions of dollars to process food. You could put restrictions on university conflicts of interest, which are essentially R&D labs for pharma. And I think a key one, Tucker, and you go back to the American Academy of Pediatrics, this isn't just some industry group. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Diabetes Association, and these medical groups have statutory authority to create the standard of care for how we practice medicine in the United States. They are funded majority by pharma. to the groups that are literally have statutory power to create the standard of care for diabetes. You just step back. Why aren't doctors in giving their patients prescriptions for food interventions if they have prediabetes? Why aren't they giving them and prescribing them and allowing them to use their medically, tax advantage dollars to exercise? If you actually follow the science, that would be the correct medical intervention to reverse that. But we're so gaslighted by this. It's just not even batting an eye that it's just pill, pill, pill. Americans follow incentives. It's what we're trying to do. TrueMed is a doctor actually can write a note for exercise and food. And that actually can open up medical tax advantage dollars and other insurance dollars. Doctors could do that. But the second you get someone off the chronic disease treadmill, that's not a profitable patient. There's nothing more profitable for the pharmaceutical industry than, frankly, a sick kid. You imagine a kid with prediabetes, inevitably they're obese, inevitably they have hypertension, inevitably they have heart issues. They're going to be, like my mom, much earlier on just a ton of drugs, being told on each of those drugs that you're not curing anything. These are conditions you need to manage for life. So we're getting people, there's a war to get kids on that bandwagon. We need to have the moral clarity, frankly, and communicate this like RFK is communicating it. There's something really resonating, and at the core of his message is that we've really lost our way. This is a big issue. This corruption. It's corruption at the end of the day, which is destroying and profiting off, destroying our kids, profiting on us being sicker and addicted and depressed, quite frankly. This is a big issue we need to unwind. And frankly, President Trump has made some strong statements about this. I'd say watching the GOP debate, it's like watching a bizarre world. I mean, Rome is burning in a lot of ways. We have a corruption problem, and it sounds like they're at some cocktail party in 1988, GOP cocktail party. It's not about the marginal tax rate. It's not about the Medicare Part D, page 300. Our biggest industry, the healthcare industry, is profiting from us being sick. It's just that simple, and we need to unwind that, or we're going to destroy our human capital and destroy our budget.
If people have come to the end of this conversation and want to learn more, I never do this, but I think it's worth it with you for sure. How can they learn more about your views on this? How can they learn more about these issues? What would you recommend?
Well, as we talked about, this is my life's passion with my sister, who was a doctor who left the system. And I'll announce it right now. I've helped her write a book that's just put on Amazon today called Good Energy, Unwinding and Unpacking These Issues Using Her Experience in Medicine. We put our heart and soul into that book to really unwind these issues, which we think are the most important issues in the country. And then my company is TrueMed.com, and we help write food prescriptions. I mean, it's our company, but I want to say that I think it's the most important issue in the world. What we need to do is doctors need to follow the science. Doctors need to, when somebody has a metabolic condition, explain to them and incentivize them to practice better eating, to exercise. People listen to doctors. When we were told the food pyramid to eat carbs, we ate carbs. When we were told to take vaccines, we took vaccines. When we were told to stop smoking, smoking rates plummeted. We need every doctor and every medical leader, and frankly, I hope leaders like Elon who care about human capital and our potential, to say we need to unwind this, and we need to get back to root causes in America and talk about food, talk about exercise, talk about sleep. You can transform your life. These policies would transform things. You can change your biomarkers in 3 months if you go on a functional medicine type program and really have curiosity about what you're eating, your behavior. What if we had that message from our medical leaders? So we're working on that with TrueMed, and I'm on Twitter, which I have mixed feelings about, but talking about this on my Twitter, Calley Means.